I'm like technology.
Yeah, all right. So we are here live with two of our amazing community of Base Morby's world. We have Vin and we have Michelle with us. How are you guys today?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for having us on. Yeah, we love the community.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming. I know we've been trying to get a hold of you for a little while. We both have a very busy schedules, so we were kind of going back and forth. Why don't we start about? Why don't we start in the most obvious way possible? How did you get into to real estate? Like, what do you guys did before you actually embarked on the journey of real estate? And you can pick it up. Your wife can pick it up. I'm not going to say Michelle tell me or Vin tell
Yeah.
me unless it's something very specific. So feel free to jump right in.
Well, Michelle, you want to start? Our journeys are a little bit different.
Absolutely. So I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. Out of those 15 years, Vin has been had the privilege to be with me for the last 3.5 years of that. No, we have worked together. But I, in real estate specifically, 10 years is what I've been. 5 years as a general contractor out in South Florida. So I was a female GC. That was the way for me to say, let me get into real estate and don't be the real estate agent, come in as a general contractor. Why? I don't know what I was thinking, but that's the way that I came into the world. And then decided that in 5 years after that, during COVID, to go ahead and get into real estate investing. Came back to San Antonio, Texas. That's where we reside right now. And Vin came here for another different type of business journey. But then we started doing real estate together back in 2023. So he has a lot more years of experience in real estate, but now we're doing it together.
So you started as a realtor and became a contractor, or vice versa?
No, I was never a realtor. So I basically took the route of construction versus the
Mm,
real estate agent route. Most people
gotcha.
that say, I want to be an investor, they come in the as a real estate agent and then realize you don't need your license to be an investor. It's actually totally different. So instead of taking that route, I took the general contracting route. Don't know why, but it has actually helped us a lot in our journey of knowing about construction, which is a big part of investing, right? If you don't, your contractors can either make the deal, break the deal, or have the deal be delayed. So
Yeah,
always blessed on the journey I took. It was just a little bit different.
yeah. I appreciate your take about things because the only realtors I deal with are the ones that are also investors. Like I need someone to know both sides and understand both sides because and nobody tells anybody about this. But if you deal with an agent that is not an investor, sometimes it can cause a lot of friction and you don't really have the right flow and understanding of things. So at the end of the day, um, I think construction trumps everything, though, and good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. How long you guys been together?
So 3.5 years. But yeah,
Mm.
Vin started 21 years ago in real estate. I'm not aging him or anything, but I hope, Dorian, you're okay with me doing jabs. I do it out of love, but that's the only way we keep the humor in our relationship here. He has a
I'm like, I
lot
was
more
waiting
experience.
for it.
No,
Yeah, I
he has
mean,
a lot
he
more
knows you.
experience. But yeah.
But you're together for 3 years.
3.5 years, yeah. So we're not married
Nice.
just yet, but might as well be. Everybody knows us everywhere we go, and in the masterminds and everything we're building. We're building together. We're building our empire together, and so it's amazing. And we were just waiting to have some more friends, aka owners club members, so we can invite to the wedding.
There you go. Do we have a date?
Not yet.
Does he know that he gets married? Because I'm not sure that he's like really in sync with what's going on here. But
Oh, I'm
we
I'm I'm staying quiet because you're grilling her. It's not.
I'm not grilling anyone, but we just show up, bro. They just tell us a day and a time, and we dress up and we show up. Um, but it's amazing. So I've been married for 20 years, and
Well,
I got married late.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, marriage is like success. You have to keep on working on it. It doesn't just, cruise control. You press a button and it's always great. You have to work on things just like success, you know, and things go wrong, and the danger lurks in getting too complacent and too comfortable with things, right? Just like success. You hit some sort of success and then you get complacent, and you like chill, and then that's where you find yourself in trouble. Same thing with marriage. So that's just awesome. So Vin, how did you get into real estate?
So my journey started 21 years ago, and so and I know that she knows, but she was just kind of dumping on my experience because I did the what I think most people assume. Well, if I'm gonna get into real estate, I got to become a licensed real estate agent. So that's what
Mm,
I did when I was 18, and I couldn't be farther from the truth. So I'm like, okay, I got my license. I don't have $1 million in the bank. I don't have any. I don't have any personal real estate. I'm like, something isn't matching up to what I thought was a process.
right.
So lo and behold, you don't need. I'm still licensed in that state, but I kept my license to be a better investor, if that makes sense. I never truly used my real estate license as a true real estate agent, unless a
Yeah.
deal fell on my lap. Because I also had a TC company for years before everybody was talking about it now. So a lot of brokers knew what my capabilities were and they felt comfortable with it. So all of a sudden I started getting deals, and that was the only traditional real estate transactions that I did. But I kept it because if something hit the MLS, I could go walk a property at 3, 4 in the morning before anybody's up and submit an offer. It didn't guarantee that I was going to get it, but it was usually the first one that was going to land on the buyer's desk or on the seller's desk. My apologies. And so it just made me easier. If something intrigued me, if it was a pocket listing, if it was whatever, I had first right of refusal basically because I was walking the property as soon as I knew about it, as opposed to let me find a real estate agent. Let's hope that he's not having a margarita because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it comes back to exactly what you said. A lot of agents, I love my agents, but if you're working with the wrong agent, they can muddy up the waters and make a good deal go sideways because they just don't know or they just don't think like an investor. All they think about is traditional real estate. So for anybody that's got a real estate agent that we call unicorn agents, they're worth their weight in gold. I had mine in California and she did still to this day, I still have a relationship with her, but she would do everything. And even me as a real estate agent, I would never do my open houses. I would never do anything. It was something that I'd gladly give to her because I knew it'd be handled and I could move on to the next deal. And so if you do the math, 21 years, I actually went through the last correction. So March of '08 was a very interesting time for me. And so got kicked in the teeth. And that's really when I discovered masterminds and paying for education as opposed to trying to figure it out on my own. And since then, it dramatically changed the trajectory of the direction I was going in. And now we're sitting here on this call, Owners Club.
Yeah, but what specifically in real estate did you embark on, and what did you do after? Like, what do you guys actually do? I have no idea in real estate.
What are we doing?
Ah.
Oh,
Yeah, clueless.
Yeah. Right now, what we're on the lending side of the business.
Mm,
So together we have buy and hold real estate. So we're buy and hold investors by trade. We have midterm rentals here in the San Antonio, Texas area. Prior to
okay.
that, Vin had nothing in his portfolio because he was doing more fix and flip. He's based out of California originally, so you don't really
Because he
buy and
didn't
hold
know
too much.
you to put something to
Exactly.
him, right?
I told him, I'm like, I don't buy purses, I buy houses. So,
There it
and
is.
now this year we're leveling up on that too. So in 2024, our biggest thing was great, slow and steady success. Like you said, it was good, but it was one of those things. And as entrepreneurs, what's next? And so we really looked in and audited our lives and said, okay, what are we really good at? And what's the superpower is what we always hear. And we're good at building relationships, AKA capital raising with private investors. We've done that when I first started my journey, and this is where the experience comes from. I never used anyone's money. I was a Latina getting into real estate, don't need anybody, and that's the mindset I had. And it was like, I don't want to borrow money. Vin was telling me, you're good. The speed that you're buying real estate, you're gonna run out. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, okay, come to me when you do. And then that's when I got into capital raising. And fast forward in just the residential side, we've been able to raise now $6.5 million within the last 24 months. And that's just residential. We have done some syndication. So we knew that that was our true passion and what we wanted to do. And like our mentor says, Pace, find an active income. So 2025, we have built a lending business. So what we do is we provide short-term lending for impact-driven deals. And we also are continuing to build our portfolio. We have a team that we're building our portfolio with, and we are going into commercial, getting into storage units, casinos. We're getting RV parks, and really building that side. And the biggest thing that Vin and I are doing is we're not wanting to do it alone. We want to do it with others. And so that is the portfolio side. We're also buying businesses. Our team is pretty aggressive. They are other owners club members, but it's a very aggressive goal, but I think super attainable with everyone that's in our corner. And then Vin and I are really just focusing on the lending side of our business and the lending and capital raising to get into deals as capital partners. So
Yeah. So, what do you mean by impact-driven properties? Give me an example.
yeah, Vin. Oh, we can't hear you.
For impact-driven properties, it's you can make money having a job, but for us, it's always being with the purpose. It's not just about the actual paycheck that comes back, but actually leaving an impact in our community, helping families, helping. We're in San Antonio, Texas, known as Military City, USA. So Michelle and her mom had originally started the portfolio helping military personnel here in San Antonio. Now we do a lot with displaced families.
Like veterans and people that are trying to get into
Correct.
from the service to got it civil life, and sometimes it's even hard for them. So is it just that niche of people?
No. So we're doing that. Part of our accountability group. The good thing is our entire accountability group from Owners Club is here. Two of them are military, retired military, from the Air Force to the Marines, and so they're helping us, basically get on base and speak to first sergeants and master sergeants, because it's not just once they get out, but it's also a lot of them that have to come into town for additional training, and sometimes they come into town for 12 to like 15 weeks. So we help with that as well. We do a lot with displaced families. What we're doing now is a lot. We're starting to get into age-out foster youth, which is a big thing. We weren't even aware of that up until like a year ago, and other people within the community are really knowledgeable in regards to that. And it's a huge sector that nobody's talking about, at least not that we're very hearing very vocally, except for within this group. And then also with independent senior living, adults that are still able to, get in the car and go to the store, but they probably just shouldn't be home alone, or they just need that companionship. And it's, all falls under affordable housing, co-living model. And so that's what we mean in regards to impact driven. It's not just about what we're bringing home, but it's what we're doing for other people.
Yeah. So, who's on your team from Owners Club? I'm just curious.
So it's myself. Go ahead.
So Jason, he does our business acquisition. So Kopecky. We have Randy. He's the Harvard Cowboy. Yeah. Harvard beard, Harvard Cowboy is what we call him. I think he's rebranding as CEO Cowboy, but I know him as Harvard. And we have Randy Rodriguez. He is also another OC member, also sub 2. We have Doc. So everybody knows as Doc, but Vernon is his real name, but Doc, and then ourselves. So a lot of what we're doing is those are the niches that we have is right now in the blueprint. Doesn't mean that that's the only thing. When we go after and we're going out to nonprofits, we're hearing about domestic violence. We're hearing about sober living. So the beauty of what Vin and I are creating and what we've created is if we can bring the investors and we can bring the money, that can allow us to wedge ourselves into any deals with our business partners and or other business ventures. So our current goal for that group is 150 million. all together with businesses and real estate. That doesn't say that we're not doing things outside that group. And all of us have that same vision in that thing. But that's the beauty of knowing what you're good at and what you're passionate about. And we love capital raising. So that gives us an opportunity, because everything that we need, it needs money. It doesn't have to be our own. And so that's the beauty of what we're creating and what we like to do. I mean, it's funny because now I can go on a golf course and talk about how to get into investments. I mean, that's like the best like responsibility ever.
Listen, the fact you can go on a golf course alone, it says that you're in good shape with your life. That you have the time to go to golf. But that's just my take. At the end of the day, listen, you're spot on. I don't know if you've seen Hunger Games. Um,
See, I wasn't the only one that thought about this.
what do you mean?
I mentioned that in a call the other day. We were doing a capital raise for our fractional, and I said hunger. It's like Hunger Games, and Vin didn't understand. He thought that I never seen it before. So I'd love to hear your
Right.
analogy on the Hunger
Mm.
Games.
Yeah. So if you need to pick one tool in real estate, you have only one tool. You should be capital.
Yeah.
That's what we think, yeah, because it opens up the doors to everything.
Exactly. Like you can hire the contractor, you can hire you can get like the investors because they look for the capital, so you don't even need to know how to do things with the contractors or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So you have, it's funny. I was talking to Mundo. You probably know Mundo
Yeah.
also from our
Mundo
community.
Sanchez, yeah.
And how did we get to the conversation? Oh yeah, it was a lawyer from South Carolina, and she's doing a model of also impact-driven properties through just like organizations that are looking for placements of veterans in different cities. And what they'll do a master lease for a building. Say, I have apartment building complexes, so they can do like a master lease with me and say, okay, give me 6 apartments, 7 apartments, whatever. And I do it also with, I used to, not anymore. Airbnb operators. At some point, I had like 17 different ones. Like, I don't care. Just take it. You get the renters. You do your maintenance. You do everything. I'm like a master lease. Basically, you also do the service for all for the property and management, things like that. You literally play like a landlord, but you don't pay the mortgage, right? You just pay as a tenant. So it made me think. It made me think about doing something with veterans because I never believed in the pad split model. Like I knew as a developer that it's going to be problematic and challenging from a zoning standpoint, and it's just a matter of time until things are going to start blowing up, and they did. They already are blowing up, right? There's a lot of issues with it. You put quite a few people in one space with just room and not even common areas. I think it's a human experiment. It's just a matter of time till something's going to happen. You heard of the last things that are happening with Pat Split? They got a big lawsuit.
Haven't heard it. No. I
No.
mean, so,
Someone got killed
oh wow.
in an
No, I
apartment.
didn't.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. So, but
It's like anything, like like it's a trend, right? But it's like, how can we, like you said, how can you do it safely, and how can you be able to figure that out? And that's the one thing we're trying to. One of the business models that we have, even with our current, is really the business side of it, like getting the master leases, having the B2B pay. So everyone that comes into ours, the tenants that are with us, they're getting, it's the insurance that's paying it, it's the corporations that are paying it to stay with us. And so we don't, that's how we will evolve into the co-living. But very similar to what you're saying, my vision is multifamily. My vision is having that small, multifamily, 50 doors or less, to have as a community for veterans, or the new construction, not necessarily putting up 7 rooms in one place if it doesn't make sense. Residential assisted living, you still have to have common areas if you want to do more on that side. And that is, I believe, is where the standard is there's going to be a lot of regulations that come down. It's already starting with in home insurance. A lot of co-living cannot get home insurance for 5 bedrooms or more, right?
Are you
And it's
familiar? Yeah, are you familiar with them, with those organizations? By the way, there's a few that apparently are pretty big, that people use. Are you familiar with those
we're
organizations?
starting to do the we're starting to do the R&D on them. So we're really actually, Randy Rodriguez is looking for those master leases, and we also, and those organizations, and we also have people in our community. That's why we said, like, we just got at Squad Up is when we learned about co-living. And the first thing Vin was like, I'm not doing co-living like, I'm just not doing it. And I said, why? And it's the fulfillment. Just like you said, the management side is not our superpower. We don't
Mm-hmm.
we don't like to deal with property management. And so when we identified that that's not, what we like,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I said, it's still, if we can find those right people and team in place to be able to do that side of it, we could still continue to do what we like. And that's serving, helping. And there's so much more in the business that we could be able to do. And this was all during discovery of knowing what our next move was. So no, we don't have it all down because it's been less than 6 months. And in regards to learning those master leases, learning the organizations, but that's that's why we're in the room. And I know we're in the right room because we have a lot of people like doing government contracts, figuring, knowing things. I know that there's a need because here locally, even going to these events,
Mm-hmm.
the nonprofits get together and their biggest need is housing. And we're the only investors in there saying, hey, we're advocating on behalf of all the other network we have that we need actually tenants and we need the people to come in. So there is such a gap that's
Disconnect.
not bridged, the disconnect. And they basically have all the government funding already. So they're like, we have the funding, we have the actual individuals and the personnel. We just need the homes. And I'm like, you don't understand how many of us investors are looking for this. And so we're just trying to bridge that gap locally and then be able to get into other areas.
Yeah. Well, I've beautiful homes that are maybe only a couple years old, that we're gonna probably look and reach out to some of those organizations and try to maybe do that. I spoke to Chino. You probably know Chino, and he's doing an amazing job over there in Vegas with that thing. Like, it's mind blowing. I mean, he's been doing this for a while, and he has everything kind of nailed down. But I would be curious to know what they need in Philadelphia, because I got the buildings, I got the property management, I am the landlord, and my property management can structure those type of master leases. We have quite a few, so like there's nothing really in our way than either talking to those organizations or finding a way to those veterans and just create that win-win.
No, yeah, 100%. I know we had been looking to try to get in with some of these organizations now for a couple of years, and we've gotten into some extent. We've had some people stay with us, on the military and across the board. But when we found that watering hole, it was, for full transparency, it was by accident. We were at a different networking event, and somebody that we knew well, that like we call him the networking whore here in San Antonio, because he knows where everything's at. And so I think Michelle and I had about a 2-hour window before another appointment. So I'm like, okay, as opposed to going back to the office, I think we were talking about going to go have breakfast or something, because this was early in the morning. He's like, well, I'm going to go down the street. It's 7 minutes away. There's another event. I'm like, all right, we have time to go. We didn't even ask any questions. So we got in the car, went over there. And so when we walked in, I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. Had no idea who was in the room. But I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. And within 15 minutes, we didn't get up because we didn't want to be rude. Somebody was talking in front of the room. And I'm glad that it happened that way, because I'm like, wait a minute. Salvation Army's here. Goodwill's here. Like organizations that we didn't even know needed housing. And so
Mm.
they did like a round robin and gave everybody 30 seconds to give their elevator speech. And the one common thing that we kept hearing, and Michelle and I are just looking at each other, was a need for housing. So when we got up and said, "Hey, that's what we do," everybody flocked at the end of the meeting. And so, like, now we keep showing up and just keep building those relationships more and more, to the point now to where Randy is doing a lot of the follow up. He's like, "Wait, Michelle and yeah, I know them." He's like, I talked to them. So now they're starting to get familiarized. Like, hey, this is who you should be calling. This is who you should be. So it's getting to the next level. Wouldn't necessarily say the gatekeeper, but it's all just showing up and trying to be of service, trying to be a resource to them, as opposed to, okay, well, what's in it for us? That's not the way we go into any room. It's always of how can we be of service. And so now people are starting to connect the dots, and it's like, okay, same thing with the local military bases here. There's a lot of military bases, and it took us probably about a year to even get into that room, and it was just consistent follow up. And so now we're in a room full of like 36 master sergeants, and each one of those individuals has between 800 to 1600 soldiers beneath them. And it was just a constant following up, networking, and not just sitting in front of the TV hoping for business to show up. It's a matter of, you want a business, you got to treat it like a business.
Yeah, you got to work it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So you were able to establish relationships with veterans, and that's how you work yourself into finding who needs the housing. Like, how did that pan out for you?
We're still
Go ahead.
working on it, right? Yeah, I was gonna say we're still working on it and identifying. I think the biggest thing that I've realized is these nonprofits need to see you, and you need to be consistent. They need to know who you
Yeah.
are. They need to be showing up. A lot of who their avatar is or who they're servicing has already been through a lot of trauma. So they need to fully vet you and know that you're not
Stability.
just
You
coming
need
in.
stability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they need to know that you're not just coming in and just what the status quo is or what they say about real estate investors, which is just a horrible thing. And because I ask, so I'm in those rooms sometimes and they're like, oh, real estate investors, all they want is money, that's all we think about. And I'm like, no, there's other ones out here that's not, we can have money but have purpose. And again, it's just people that are uneducated that don't understand our world, right?
Or
And so
had a
they
bad
just need to,
experience.
or had a bad experience, and they
Yeah.
just need to know that there's a common thing of people saying Section 8, it's a bad thing. Section 8's not bad. We have Section 8 housing and we don't have issues. It's about how it's about everything of how you build your business. And so the thing is that they just need to know, and it's on anything. If somebody keeps seeing you show up, and if you're showing up in the world at a networking event, then they're like, okay, this person's committed. They're not just here today and come back every 6 months when they need
Yeah.
something. They're actually
Yeah.
here to serve. So we're continuing to build that. Like I said, it's been less than a year, and it's been amazing as far as the next level and stepping stones we're doing. And the best part about it is we're no longer doing it alone. And like you said, do you know this person? Do you know this? There's so many people in our group they're just getting little nuggets from here and here and here. And then we're all collaborating together and saying, okay, well, if it works over there in Vegas, maybe it works in Philadelphia, maybe it'll work in Florida, maybe it'll work in Texas, a little bit of something. There will be eventually where we're going to be able to crack the code as a community. And I think that's where we're headed in our direction, in the sense of, oh, well, let's get the master leases, let's get the government contracts, because we are all working as a collaborative effort, and we have multiple markets we're in, right? And then it trickles down to whoever's the operators or landlords or wherever in those markets.
Yeah, for sure. We have a few minutes to go, and I want to try to be mindful of trying to really talk about you guys, and where do you see yourself um, in 5 years. Everyone is talking about the 5 years, but they don't really sometimes see things the right way. You really want to do 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Why? Because you want to say, okay, if I want to be 5 years here, what do I need to do before that in order to get there? So how would I set up my goals for year 1 that will serve my year 5, and then year 3 you kind of recalibrate, right? So I have to ask you guys, what is your game plan to get you to your year 5 goals, and what are your year 5 goals?
I know that Michelle is anxious to talk about that, but Doron, I just want to say I love the question because that's exactly how Michelle and I think. It's always what does the end look like? Now let's reverse engineer it all the way back to day one, and that's exactly what you're saying. And I think a lot of people just don't think that way, either just because they don't or they just weren't. I don't even know what the right word is, but yeah, everything we do is like, okay, what does that look like? Now let's go back to day one. Because if you don't do it that way, and it's just kind of, let's just hope that we hit that mark. So,
Yeah,
okay.
well, a lot of people, are working from survival mode, and survival mode is now money, and I gotta survive, and it's not, a prosperous mindset of abundance, because there's a ton of money out there, and there's a ton of deals out there, and there's abundance. God gives you so much. You just have to do the work in order to get there or to find it, right? So go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, so I mean, we're very blessed to know that we have a visionary and a visionary integrator in the family here, and I
Mm.
say that because we both are very vision driven, and then the integration comes in because I always say, Ron, I don't have dreams; it's my reality. I have goals, but I don't dream. Like I will make sure whatever we look for and whatever we want to succeed and do, we're going to complete it and do it because I come from a part of really wanting to serve, and that's where it comes from, and just giving. And we're in a season in our lives that we don't have to go chase the money, because what we're doing, the money is a byproduct of it. And I think if you do good in this world, everything else will follow in that. And so our 5-year goals as of today, and I say that because just like you said, we will reset, recalibrate, and things are hitting the ceilings already where we're at in the 3 years. And we'll probably have better goals then. And just there's already things. I tell Vin every now and then, like, I just pinch myself and say, we're so grateful that we are now, both of us are calibrated together, because it's taken us, we've only been together 3.5 years to figure out
Oh
two
yeah.
entrepreneurs, two entrepreneurs to really say, okay, we have the same goals, but do we have it parallel and an alignment together? And sometimes as a marriage, you don't know that yet. And it takes a couple of years to understand that. But as of today, we're looking to impact 10,000 lives. And that is with private money, everybody that would be involved, private money, lenders, investors, people that are staying in our homes and or properties, 10,000 lives within the next 5 years. And they all have to be impact driven, purpose driven, as far as initiatives. If I pass tomorrow, I want people to know that I was able to impact my little world, not the world, my world, and be able to change someone's life that's within our actual area of whatever we're doing. And so, yes, we're capital raisers, but we are way more than that. The people that we bring to our actual projects, we let them know. We don't say, okay, your ROI is this. We say, these are how many lives you've been able to impact because of what you put in. And that is the difference between us capital raising and why we're successful at it, because we tell the story. We don't tell, the numbers are the numbers, and they're going to come and the money's going to come, but it is touched in a different way when they know you've impacted 234 lives and counting in the last 5 years just with our portfolio. Now we're going to X that. And so 10,000 lives is where we're at today. We have everything quantified in metrics that I foresee we will hit that number way before then, because what we're doing now is we're growing with others and people on our team. And it's not just Vin and I doing that. So,
Yeah, force multiplier, right? When you have team members, it's a force multiplier. Good stuff, guys. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to try to get to know me and more. I'm just grateful to really had the opportunity to speak to more of our community members. At the end of the day, um, this is my second year in Owners Club, and I don't even know 10%. I'll be honest with you. It's just everyone's so busy with their lives, career, goals, kids, you name it. We don't really have the time to just stop and just do this for a second and get to know more the people and the stories behind those people. And this is just one of those moments. So I'm just grateful for that.
Oh,
I
thank you.
appreciate you inviting us on, and absolutely, we see you. We see the amazing things you're doing. And again, as first owner club members, one of the things, because we are very ambitious over here, we're like, people are going to get to know who we are. We've been doing a very good job in other communities, and they know Michelle and Vin, and here they will as well. And it's just the more so because I just want people to know that we're here to help, serve, and work together and collaborate. So we see you, you'll see us. You won't forget us now, especially when we go to Scottsdale. We'll be able to,
Yeah, it's
now
happening.
know a face to the name. It's happening in a
Yeah,
couple of weeks, 2 weeks.
exactly. I'm actually flying tomorrow to Arizona for 3 days, coming back, and then I'm flying 2 days before Owners Club because I'm keynoting Matt Pokman event, which is a couple days before, and then Owners Club. So I'm just back and forth a little bit, but I'm gonna stop the recording. We have to stay on, otherwise it's gonna lose the recording. It's just a crazy thing this Streambright has.